Right, thank you guys. Good morning, class. Welcome to Mr. Wan's class. Last class, which story did we read?
Aladdin.
Aladdin. And today, what story do we have? Raise your hand. Go ahead.
We have Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland. Since we already know a lot about Aladdin from what we did in the last activity, does anyone want to remind me what was the activities, or actually what were we learning last time? I have boards here, anchor charts to support us. Let's have Jeremiah's.
We learned about Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
That probably never to trust anyone or never trust like people that say like, oh, his brother, hi. Maybe don't like trust strangers.
Yes, and from our lesson, our previous lesson, which story element would you say that is? Would it be characters, a setting, an event, or a theme? What were you just describing? Go ahead, Jeremiah.
The theme?
The theme, yes. We're learning about some themes. That's one of the potential themes we mentioned in our last activity. Sebastian, thank you, Jeremiah. Go ahead, share.
So what I learned is that so Aladdin had a fake uncle that was a magician from North Africa, I think. And they're from Persia, I think. Aladdin is the mom was from Persia, and then the magician came from North Africa just because he wanted a lamp. So they said that it can make you become like a witch, like there'll be a genie that listens to you. So he tried to get it, but in the cave, Aladdin didn't listen to him because like he fell down.
That is true. A lot of things happen. You mentioned a lot of things. What did you mention? What story elements did you mention? I remember you said the magician, you said the lamp, you said the cave, you said North Africa. What story elements were you just using an example of?
As settings, because those from North Africa to North Africa to Persia.
Persia, yes. As well as you talking about the magician, which falls under which story element? Characters, yes. Anyone else want to share from our last lesson? What were little things that one last things? We already have theme that Jeremiah shared earlier. We have Sebastian to share characters as well as setting. How about an event? One event. Let's have Sophia share one event. Thank you for trying to volunteer, Jeremiah. One event that happened in the story, Sophia.
When the stranger came up to Aladdin and claimed that he was his uncle.
So that was an event, and was he the uncle? Did we find out, was he the real uncle?
No, he was a magician from North Africa.
And what other event towards that? Why did he lie to Aladdin, Sophia? Why? What event was he trying to get to?
Because he wanted the lamp.
He wanted the lamp, and was the lamp special or was it regular, Isayana?
It was special.
Special. What was so special about the lamp?
It had like someone inside that opened whatever he wished.
So it was a magical lamp, right? Yeah. And the person you're talking about inside, one of the characters, just like our story element, is the genie. So the genie was inside the lamp. That's another character. So today we're actually gonna read Alice in Wonderland. I want to use that as in to refresh you on your memory of what happened last class, which is typically what's gonna happen right now. But this time we have Alice in Adventure in Wonderland. So feel free to take notes while we're reading, but at the end of the chapter, when I finish the one chapter, we're gonna take notes together. And what are our notes gonna consist of? What can we already predict we're gonna use as notes? What are we gonna get? Go ahead, Sebastian.
A note's supposed to be like about chapters, settings, events, and themes.
A theme in class. What all those things that Sebastian just mentioned? What are those called?
Story elements.
Story elements. Yes. So we're gonna do that. As well as, I know you guys are really great at sharing and have your own sentences, but I have a story element sentence starters if you guys need some help. Maybe you're like, how can I talk about character? For example, we could say the characters in the story are just like the genie that Isayana mentioned, or if you want to say what happened in the story or what is a place in the story, you could say the story takes place in, just like Sebastian said, Persia or North Africa. And as well as for what happened in the story, for the events, Sophia was talking about how in the story, there was a fake magician that claimed to be the uncle of Aladdin. So we could say what happened in the story is Aladdin met a fake magician and told him that he was his uncle. Which was it true or was it a lie, Sophia?
A lie.
A lie. I just wanted to share that with you guys before we begin. But now, we're going to begin the story. We already know what we're looking for, and we're going to share our details at the end of the chapter. Here we go. Follow along. Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sister on the bank of the river with nothing to do. Once or twice, she had peeked into the book her sister was reading. Remember, Sebastian, we're going to share our details at the...
We had to read in 1865.
A little description. All right, I'll read that. You are right. In 1865, the English author Lewis Carroll introduced the world to a girl named Alice in the strange and funny world of Wonderland. Thank you, Sebastian. That's a very important detail. Now, let me continue. But the book had no pictures or conversations in it. What is the use of a book, thought Alice, without pictures or conversation? It was a hot day. The heat made Alice feel sleepy. She was thinking if the pleasure of making a daisy chain would be worth the trouble of getting up and picking the daisy. Just then, a white rabbit passed and ran past her. Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you, Sayana. There was nothing so very remarkable in that, nor did Alice think it so very particular to hear the rabbit say to itself, oh dear, I shall be too late." But when the rabbit took a watch out of its pocket, Alice jumped to her feet. We're on the second page, you guys. Sorry, I forgot to tell you guys we're transitioning to the other page.
Wait, did you read the caption?
There was no caption. On the first one, no. We're gonna skip the captions for now.
Oh, okay.
We're on page 35. Sorry about that. But when the rabbit took a watch out of its pocket, Alice jumped to her feet. She ran after the rabbit and saw him pop down a large rabbit hole. Alice followed the rabbit down the hole, never once thinking how she would get out again. The rabbit hole dipped suddenly down. Alice found herself falling down what seemed to be a very deep well. Now we're turning to page 37. If you're finishing a note, go ahead. But for the rest of us who are ready, we'll go to 37. Remember, we're going to share our notes at the end of the chapter. Either the well was very deep or she fell very slowly, for she had plenty of time to look about her. She looked at the side of the wall. They were filled with cupboards. Sorry?
Didn't it say the sides of the well?
She looked at the sides of the well. Yes. Sorry about that. They were filled with cupboards and bookshelves. Well, thought Alice to herself, after a fall like this, I shall think nothing of tumbling down the stairs. Down, down, down. Would the fall ever come to an end? I wonder how many miles I've fallen by this time. Alice said out loud, I must be getting somewhere near the center of the earth. Let me see. That would be 4,000 miles down, I think. I wonder if I shall fall right through the earth. How funny it would be to come out among the people that walk with their heads pointing downwards. I shall have to ask them what the name of the country is. Please, ma'am, is this New Zealand or Australia? She felt that she was dozing off when suddenly, thump, down she came upon a heap of sticks and dry leaves. Turning to page 39. Page 39. Alice was not hurt. She got up and looked around. Before her was a long tunnel. The white rabbit was hurrying down it. Alice ran after him. She heard him say, oh, my ears and whiskers, how late it's getting. She thought she was catching up to the white rabbit. Then she turned the corner and poof, he was gone. Alice found herself in a long, low hall. There were many doors, but they were all locked. She wondered how she would ever get out. Suddenly, she came upon a little three-legged table. It was made of solid glass. There was nothing on it but a tiny golden key, but it would not open any of the doors. From page 41. Then Alice spotted a curtain she had not noticed before. Behind it was a little door about 15 inches high. She tried the little golden key in the lock. It fit. The door led into a small tunnel. It was not much larger than a rat hole. Alice knelt down and looked out into the loveliest garden she had ever seen. She longed to get out of the dark hall. She longed to wander about the garden, but the doorway was tiny. She could not ever get her head through it. There seemed to be no use in waiting by the little door, so Alice went back to the table. This time she found a little bottle on it. Said Alice. That was not there before. Alice looked closely at the bottle. The label said, "Drink me." "I'll look first," Alice said, "to see if it's marked poison." The bottle was not marked poison, so Alice decided to taste it. She found it had a sort of mixed flavor. It tasted like cherry tart, custard, pineapple, roast turkey, taffy, and hot butter toast. Alice drank it up. Alright, I finished the first chapter. What notes do you guys have for the first chapter? Go ahead, Sebastian.
I was actually taking notes the whole time. It was a hot day. It made Alice sleepy.
It was a hot day and it made her sleepy. Good notes, Sebastian. Let's try Jeremiah, then Sophia. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
For the events, Alice drank. She drank the potion. Or
the bottle.
Yeah. She said it tasted like many different flavors.
One flavor was what? Roast turkey. Yeah.
Cherry, tall, custard,
Pineapple. Does that sound delicious? All those flavors? Does that sound delicious? I like pineapple, but roast turkey and pineapple, I don't know if I like that.
No.
But yes, that was an event. Thank you, Jeremiah. I like how you used the story element, which was the event. Thank you. Go ahead, Sophia, share your idea.
That Allison drank the suspicious bottle.
And what happened with that? I know we already read the story, so now we could just go into the notes itself. What happened after she drank the bottle, you guys? What do you guys remember? Sophia?
She grew bigger.
She grew bigger?
Yeah.
But wasn't she trying to go to a tiny door?
Oh yeah.
So what happened? She had a what, golden key to open a what, big door or a small door? Small door. She drank the potion, right? Or the bottle. What happened afterward? I know you guys remember the story. What happened afterwards? Jeremiah?
I think she became smaller so she can unlock the door.
The door, yeah, she did become smaller. That's another thing that happened in the next chapter. And then it's Ayana, after she became smaller, what happened when she went through the door? You still remember? Remember we read the story already?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Alright. You don't remember? Alright, then perhaps we shall read it. I know Jeremiah remembers, but I'm gonna read it, alright? You guys are doing real good. These chapters are pretty long, so you guys are doing a good job. We're gonna continue. Share, just keep your notes ready to go, alright? Alright, we are on page 43, chapter 5, part. I'm gonna read. When we last saw Alice, she had decided to drink from a little bottle. The content of the bottle tastes rather odd. What a curious feeling, said Alice. She was shrinking smaller and smaller, just like we said. Soon she was only 10 inches high. That was just the right size to fit through the little door that led to the garden. But when she got to the door, she found she had forgotten the little golden key. She went back to the table for it, but she was too short to reach it. Alice sat down and cried, but soon her eyes fell on a little glass box that was under the table. She opened it and found a very small cake. The words "Eat me" were spelled out on the cake with currant. "I'll eat it," said Alice enthusiastically. We're on page 45. Curiouser, cried Alice. Now I'm growing larger and larger. Goodbye, feet. Alice Alice's head bumped against the roof of the hall. She was 9 feet tall. She grabbed the little golden key and ran to the garden door. But she was now too large to go through the doorway. All she could do was peek into the garden with one eye. We're on page 47. Alice sat down and began to cry again. She went on crying gallons of tears until there was a large pool around her. Then Alice heard a pattering of feet in the distance. It was the White Rabbit returning. He was splendidly dressed, with a pair of white gloves in one hand and a large fan in the other hand. He was muttering to himself, "Oh, the Duchess. Won't she be cross if I've kept her waiting?" When the rabbit came near her, Alice tried to speak to him. "If you please, sir," the rabbit was startled. He dropped his gloves and his fans and scurried away into the darkness. "How odd everything is today," said Alice. Page 49. As she said this, Alice could see that she was shrinking again. In another moment, splash! She was up to her chin in water. Poor Alice was swimming in a pool of her own tears. "I wish I hadn't cried so much," said Alice as she swam about in search of a way out. Thankfully, Alice did find a way out. She was not one for sitting still doing nothing, so she began to wander further and further into Wonderland. It was at that point that she came across a large blue caterpillar. We're on page 51. The caterpillar was sitting on a mushroom and smoking a pipe. Alice stood on her tiptoes and peeked over the edge of the mushroom. Her eyes met those of the caterpillar. The two of them looked at each other for some time in silence. At last, the caterpillar took the pipe out of its mouth and asked, "Who are you?" Alice replied, I hardly know, sir. I know who I was when I got up this morning, but I have been changed several times since then." "What do you mean by that?" said the caterpillar sternly. "Explain yourself." "I can't explain myself, sir," said Alice, "because I am not myself, you see." "I don't see," said the caterpillar. "I'm afraid I can't put it more clearly," Alice replied. "I find that being so many different sizes in one day is very confusing." "It isn't," said the caterpillar. Alice felt a little irritated by the caterpillar and she turned away. We're on page 53. "Come back," the caterpillar called. I've something important to say." This sounded promising, so Alice turned and came back again. Keep your temper," said the caterpillar. "Is that all?" said Alice. In a minute or two, the caterpillar took the pipe out of his mouth and got down off the mushroom. Then he crawled away into the grass. As he went, he said, "One side will make you grow taller, the other side will make you grow shorter." "One side of what?" thought Alice to herself. "Of the mushroom," said the caterpillar. In another moment, the caterpillar was gone. Alice broke off a bit of each side of the mushroom. She ate small bits and managed to bring herself back to be normal height. Alright, you guys, we finished that chapter. What details do you guys want to share that is important for you, that you want to remember? Go ahead, Jeremiah.
That I remember from the chapter, Alice ate many different stuff. Like earlier she drank a potion that made her smaller. Now she ate a cake that made her bigger, and then now she ate small pieces of the mushrooms, like the sides, and she became her normal size. So like she became many different sizes.
Yes. And what you were mentioning, what story element were you mentioning? Was it setting, event, character? Events, yeah. The events of her growing, shrinking, and all of that. Good job. Thank you, Jeremiah. What would you like to share, Sebastian?
Oh, this from the last page before chapter 6, I put Alice finds herself in Wonderland.
In Wonderland, yes. And what story element is that?
The setting.
A setting, yes.
Because that's what she is.
She's who is she with?
A caterpillar.
A caterpillar, yes.
So turtles and the Wonderland.
Two characters. Good job, Sebastian. Anyone else want to share for this chapter? Isayana,
There's more.
Sophia.
At the right here, and you saw right here, there's different kinds.
There's even more options.
Yeah.
So hopefully Isayana and Sophia, you guys could share in the next chapter. I want to hear you guys. I know you guys are writing little things. I want to hear about that. So we're gonna share in the next after this next chapter, right?
Sophia's putting like smiley pieces on her.
Sophia, you taking notes? Yeah, you got some notes. Let's see.
Maya.
Oh yeah, you do. All right, I want you to share in the next chapter. So I'm gonna read chapter 6. I really like how Jeremiah was telling about volunteering. In the next chapter, I would like to hear from Sophia and Isayana. Let's go to chapter 6 on page
Can I do one?
55. You want to read a page?
Yes,
Yeah.
me too.
All right, we'll have some volunteers. Sebastian, read the next following page, which is page 55.
Chapter 6.
Chapter 6,
Can you
right
read
here.
page 57?
And then we'll have you on 57, Jeremiah.
Next, Alice wondered until she came up and Chester Cat. The cat was sitting on the branch of a tree, grinning from ear to ear. Alice was beginning to wish her time in Wonderland would come to an end. Chester Cat, Alice said, "Would you tell me, please, which way I should walk from here?" That depends a lot of where you want to go to, said the cat. "I don't care much where," said Alice. "Then it doesn't matter which way you go," said the cat, "so long as I get somewhere." Alice added, "Oh, you're sure to do that," said the cat. "If you only walk long enough." Alice tried another question. "What sorts of people live here?" Alice came upon the Chester Cat.
Yes. Thank you, Sebastian. Good reading. Now, Jeremiah, I know you want to read page 57. Go ahead.
"In that direction," said the cat, waving his right paw, "lives a Mad Hatter. In that direction lives a March Hare. Visit either of them if you like. They're both mad, but I don't want to visit with mad people," Alice remarked. "Oh, you can't help that," said the cat. "We're all mad here." Then the cat vanished slowly, beginning at the end of his tail and ending with his grin, which remained some time after the rest of him had gone. "Well," thought Alice, "agreeing without a cat? How curious." Alice spoke with the Cheshire Cat.
Yes, thank you, Jeremiah. Good reading. Sophia, I know you want to volunteer. Let's try page 59. Go ahead, Sophia.
She walked a bit and came to a house with a table set up in front. The March Hare and the Mad Hatter were having tea. A dormouse was sitting between them. The table was large, but the three of them were all crowded together at one corner of it. No room," they cried out when they saw Alice coming. "There's plenty of room," said Alice, indignantly. She sat down in a large armchair at one end of the table. "Have some lemonade," said the March Hare. Alice looked around the table. "I don't see any lemonade," she remarked. "There isn't any," said the March Hare. "Then it wasn't very civil of you to offer it," said Alice angrily. "It wasn't very civil of you to sit down without being invited," said the March Hare. Alice met the March Hare and the Mad Hatter and the Dormouse.
Dormouse. Thank you, Sophia. Isayana, would you like to read page 61?
The Mad Hatter looked at
Alice for some time. At last he said, "Why is there a
Raven?
raven like a writing desk?" A rattle, thought Alice. She'll have some fun now. I believe I can guess that, she added
Out loud?
aloud. Do you mean that you think you know the answer to it? Asked the March
Hair.
Exactly so, Alice said
Okay.
Alice. Then you should say what you mean. The March Hare went on. I do, Alice replied. At least I mean what I say. That's the same thing, you know. Not the same thing at all, said the Mad Hatter. Why, you might as well say that I see what I eat is the same thing as I eat what I see. You might as well say, added the dormouse, which seemed to be walking and talking in its sleep, that I breathe when I sleep is the same thing as I sleep when I breathe.
Thank you. Yes, I am. I'll continue, guys. You guys are doing a good job. Page 63 it is the same thing with you, said the Mad Hatter. Then he returned to Alice again and asked, have you guessed the riddle yet? No, I give up, said Alice replied. What's the answer? I haven't the slightest idea, said the Mad Hatter. Nor I, said the March Hare. Well, thought Alice, this is the strangest tea party I ever was in all my life. Alice stayed for a while longer and listened to the Dormouse tell a story about three sisters who lived at the bottom of a tree so well. The story was very odd indeed. Alice, confused by the tale, frequently questioned the Dormouse. At last, a frustrated Alice walked off. It's the strangest tea party I ever was at in all my life, she concluded. That finishes that chapter. What notes do we want to write for this section? Go ahead, Jeremiah.
When we met the Cheshire Cat, that was a new character. And the event, the Cheshire Cat was also kind of like going away slowly. Like he was kind of camouflaging away.
Yes, he was camouflaging. I like that. They used that word when he was backing away. He was camouflaging into the tree. That is an event and a new character. Thank you, Jeremiah. So, Stian, you want to share?
I just saw two things on page 64. There was 3 new turtles, and page 64 there was the Mad Hatter, a rabbit, and a dormouse.
Yes.
And an event that happened is that they were playing the game, but then I think the rabbit said so how you guess the riddle, and Alice said I don't know, I don't think so, and then she left kind of like madly. Like she said, this is the strangest tea party ever.
Ever, yes. I remember when Sophia was reading her section, they were like, how, it's Ayana and Sophia. When Alice wanted to join the tea party, did they welcome her? Like, oh yeah, come here. Or were they rude and mean? Sophia?
They were rude and mean.
Rude and mean.
They would say, no room.
No room, no room. It's Ayana. What did they offer to Alice that was not really there?
It's a drink.
It was something to drink. What was it?
It's one of my favorite drinks. A tea party? No.
Did Sophia help her out?
Lemonade.
Lemonade. Yes. And it's Ayana. Was there really a lemonade?
No.
No.
They were just making
And then also, to conclude this, I remember that Alice said it's so rude for you guys to offer lemonade, and there was no lemonade. But what did they say to return to her? They're telling her that it's so rude for her to invite herself to the tea party without being invited.
That's
I thought that was a very important moment, like where they're like, they were rude, but then Alice was also rude because she just invited herself to the tea party. That could be another event that you guys could have.
Because one time it was my sister's party, and then one of my cousins came, but they just only wanted the candy.
All right. Yeah, they just had specific reasons for being there. That's a good connection to real life. Thank you, Jeremiah. All right, this is the last chapter. You guys are doing good. I'm gonna read it. There's a couple of things, but we'll get through it, and then you wanna read Cage?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do some sharing for those who want to volunteer. All right, page 65 for Celestian. Go ahead, Celestian. Take it
In
away.
this final chapter, Alice comes across
The next one.
even more odd things in Wonderland. As Alice wandered further into Wonderland, she found a door in a tree that led into a hallway. The hallway led into the beautiful garden that she had been in earlier.
Remarkably.
Remarking upon entering the garden, she met a huge number of people, including royal courtiers. They were about to begin a game of
Crochet, actually. Crochet.
No, it's actually called a
And
croquet.
they
Okay,
invited
sorry.
Alice to play the game. Itself proved to be nothing but chaos, probably
Chaos, but
chaos. Partly because the
Croquet.
croquet grounds was all
Ridges.
ridges and furrows.
Or rose,
The croquet balls were leaf-head groundhogs, and the mallards were flamingos. Alice found that her biggest problem was managing her flamingo and stopping the balls or hedgehogs from walking away. In
Addition.
the players all played at the same time without waiting of their turn. The queen of her pots began stamping about and shouting out with his head or off with her head.
Alright, thank you, Sebastian. Sophia, I know you want to read page 67. You can read the next one, Jeremiah. 67, Sophia?
But lucky for Alice, she was removed from the game by none other than the queen, who was eager for Alice to meet the mock turtle. On their way to meet the mock turtle, Alice was introduced to the griffin. What are a mock turtle and a griffin? Alice did not know either, nor did she ever get an answer that made sense. The best answer is that they are two more examples of the extraordinary inhabitants of Wonderland. Together, the mock turtle and the griffin told the Queen and Alice stories of their school days. They recalled the subjects they have studied in school, including reading, bravery, and ambition, not to mention ancient and modern mystery. Alice was quite certain that she had not studied these subjects.
Thank you, Sophia. I know Jeremiah wants to sponsor. Go ahead, Jeremiah. Page 69.
This odd conversation was stopped by the news that An important trial has begun. Alice raced off with the Griffin to discover that Knave of Hearts was on trial for stealing some tarts. Just like the game of croquet, the trial itself was a confusing mess. The witnesses were not
At all.
helpful. Quite strangely, Alice herself was called as a witness when the Queen said that the sentence should be announced by the jury had decided upon their verdict. Alice was ready to scream. In fact, she did. "Stuff nonsense," she said loudly. The idea of having the sentence first. "Hold your tongue," said the Queen, turning purple. "I won't." "Off with her heads," yelled the Queen.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Tayan, would you like to read the last one?
Again, lucky for Alice, just as that moment she woke up on the riverbank beside her sister. The sun was still shining, and it was indeed a beautiful day. Alice eagerly told her sister all about her dream and her adventures in Wonderland. Alice's sister was quite entertained by the stories of Wonderland and the way in which Alice told them. Alice's eyes twinkled and shone as she told her sister about the caterpillar, the
Cheshire Cat,
the Cheshire Cat,
The
Mad Hatter, the March Hare, the King and Queen of Hearts, not to mention the White Rabbit. As Alice skipped away to enjoy some afternoon tea, her sister imagined this magic world full of curious creatures. Alice's sister hoped that Alice would always remember the day that she dreamed of Wonderland and continue to tell the story.
Thank you, Tayana. Now, the last chapter, what ideas, details do you want to throw in that we want to share about this chapter? Let's start with Sebastian, then we'll go to Jeremiah. Go ahead, Sebastian.
I'm on the page that I read. You know this one? The page 66. So I put on the Queen of Hearts invited Alice to play. And yeah.
Okay, And how was that?
It was kind of like bad because they were not even like doing the words. They were just all talking at the same time, playing games.
Were they taking turns?
No.
Oh.
They were all going at the same time.
So what happens when you guys don't go in turns? Like right now, let's say Jeremiah and Sophia want to share at the same time like you. Would that be ideal for conversations for me to hear you? Or would I not be able to hear you because they're talking at the same time?
You won't be able to hear because they're talking at the same time.
Yes, it's pretty chaotic. Yes, that is an important event that happened in the story. And who was the new character that we saw? Who was the new character?
The Queen of Hearts.
The Queen of Hearts. Jeremiah, you want to share more? There's other characters as well. Go ahead, Jeremiah. Thank you so much.
So they added kind of like 4 new characters, but there was one that they didn't talk about. The king, the king of the heart,
And the rat.
and the guy phone, and also there was a turtle.
The what's it called?
What about the flamingo and the
Well, the flamingos were used as what, to hit the hedgehogs, right?
Yeah.
Mock turtle, Jeremiah. The mock turtle.
Well, and the eagle.
And the griffin? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks. Those are new characters, Jeremiah. Yes.
And
That
the
weren't
sister.
mentioned that much.
But
And
it's
her
not
sister,
real.
yes. Sophia said the sister too. And when did that happen? When did the sister came back to the story, Sophia?
At the end.
At the end, right?
At page 7.
Oh, because Alice told all the stories that she had It was mostly like bad stories.
Yes. And then her sister was fascinated by the stories of going to Wonderland.
And
I thought the end there were 9 people.
9 people? Yeah, there's a lot of people. There's also people in the trial. Did we know about them?
4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9.
Yeah, for the people in the trial, we don't know about them.
Yeah, only right here is the main ones.
Yeah, just the main ones that were mentioned they were talking about.
72.
Now, I know that we shared a lot of things. You guys have good ideas. We all shared a lot of what were we sharing mainly during our share?
The story elements.
Story elements. So you guys have a good idea how to find those, what those are. Now, I have a worksheet for independent work, but you are welcome to work together. What do you guys assume or predict that we're gonna do in that worksheet? What are we gonna work on, Celsia?
I think we're gonna do it last time with Aladdin. We're gonna do filters, settings, events, and themes.
And themes. And Jeremiah, what are all those things called?
Story elements.
Story elements.
I was gonna say that maybe we are gonna teleport. We're kind of gonna. I thought you were gonna say that we were both. The both stories, we're gonna tell both of them. Like, how are they different and how?
Remember, lesson 3, we're gonna compare and contrast both stories. But for right now, we just want to get the story elements, the details in the story. So then for our next lesson, we will compare and contrast them.
First, we want to get all the filters in each stories, and then we could start combining them and seeing how different or the same.
Yes, you guys already have some things that are the same and different in your head?
Yeah.
All right. So that's good because we're going to do that in our other lesson. But today we're going to do this story elements for Alice in Wonderland. Let me pass those for you guys.
Yes, I know it. Alright, can you start?
You can start, yes.
Okay.
You can start. And I'll be walking around to help you guys out, all right? We're going to use our sticky notes as reference. Remember, we have a couple of new characters, settings, themes, and events. Go ahead, girls. You can start. You can start. You can use this though. I'm gonna help. So, see, you have a lot of notes. That's good. Remember, it starts on chapter 4, page 33.
So just 2 rabbits. It's the one with the bad title and the rabbit, the white one.
The regular one. Yeah, that is true. There's 2 rabbits. Today's date is the Miss Cake. Do you know today's date? The 6th. Thank you, Miss Cake. It's the 6th, you guys. October 6th. For the title, you could just put Alice, or you could put the whole title if you want. Alice Adventure in Wonderland.
Okay, I'm gonna put Alice in Wonderland instead.
That counts, yes.
Mostly Alice the main character because she's in every page.
Yes, she is. She's
mostly. Sister.
She's our protagonist, the person that's being mentioned the most.
Yeah. She almost every page is there's at least one thing up for her. Character. Easy.
Remember, we mentioned a lot of characters. You don't have to put all of them if it doesn't fit. But you want to put the people that you think is very important to remember.
No.
I know we all could agree that Alice is going to be one of the main characters we want to mention.
I put her first, of course. I put Caterpillar.
Caterpillar? Alright, yes.
Cheshire Cat.
It doesn't have to be all the same, remember. We all have our own ideas.
I'm not going to put Cheshire Cat.
What pictures are you going to put?
It's too long. I'll put okay, settings.
Alice, yes.
Settings. I'll go with the Wonderland.
We're already done with all the characters.
Alice's sister, right? Do we know Alice's sister's name?
Oh no.
No, right? Well, we just could put her as Alice's sister.
Alice's sister. Older.
Or the sister. Yeah, you can put her as the sister of Alice if you want also.
That was too long. I'll just put sister. I'll say
Alright.
Theme? What's the theme though?
The theme?
The
message. Yes, the theme is the message or the meaning.
I say mad and
Don't trust strangers. Sophia says that the theme is don't trust strangers.
Okay.
That's very interesting.
Mad strangers. We put mad strangers.
Yes.
Mad. Don't talk to strangers.
Strangers, yes.
You could, cause how you make friends?
That is true. But were these strangers really like the people you want to meet?
No.
Or they're little strange,
They look
remember?
ugly.
Like, remember, was the queen really nice? Was she really nice?
No.
No. What was she saying off with her?
She looked like an old granny.
Yes. And then the rabbit, was he really like patient with Alice, or was he saying how he's gonna be late?
He's gonna be late.
Right? He wasn't really patient. And then in the tea party, those strangers, were they nice or mean to Alice?
Me.
They were mean, yes.
That was weird.
Yeah, as a theme would be like, don't be careful with strangers. What were we saying, Sophia? The theme
Don't
should
talk
be,
to strangers.
don't talk to strangers.
What about
That's
nice
what I
strangers?
said. That's what I said about in Aladdin.
And Aladdin, that's well. Maybe that could be a similarity.
Don't talk to strangers.
Our next lesson is gonna be comparing both stories.
Can I put Taylor in the?
Taylor?
Yeah, the last. But there's no.
No, was there a Taylor in this story?
Yeah.
No, there was no Taylor.
I don't want to know. This was okay. Those are Taylor.
In Aladdin, yes, in Aladdin there was.
Mr. One.
But we're not
It
there
was
yet.
in England.
You passed it. Oh yeah, England.
It was in
England.
England. Look.
That is true. In the map, it shows us, it gives us clue. Well, it gives us the clue of where the stories originated.
Sebastian, he looks like a
Where's
furry.
that map? I know there's a map.
He looks
Right here.
in my head.
Yeah, England.
England and Persia, Iran.
Don't want
Yes.
those.
Okay, good observation. Alright, so we have characters, the theme, don't trust strangers,
No.
or don't trust mad strangers.
Yeah, my strangers.
And what does it mean by mad? What do they mean by mad? Like they're angry
Crazy.
mad? Uh-huh.
Crazy.
Crazy mad. Yeah.
Loco.
I like how you guys can put those connections. Yeah, it is. To be
Vent.
loco.
Loco means crazy in Spanish.
Remember in settings, the story originates from England, but remember what was the setting? Like where was it? Was it in the city? Was it in the desert? Was it Alice in Wonderland? Yes. But how will we describe the Wonderland?
Wonderland. A weird place.
Weird place, but
Mad
something
place.
that sticks out a lot.
Mad place.
Like I see a lot of, what are these things called?
people. Maybe like garden. A garden.
Trees, yeah, it's a young saying trees. So
Maybe
where can
garden.
a garden? There was a garden.
You know what? I think
That's
it
a
is
setting as well.
garden. It's because there was tunnels inside it.
Tunnels, yes.
Maybe
And
it's a garden.
it was a garden. Remember, she found a garden. But in the picture, what does it look like? Like, does it look like a city? Does it look like a desert, like in Aladdin? What would you describe?
A forest.
The countryside, a forest. Yes, a countryside has
The
forest.
forest that's like really big. Like has a lot of room.
Yes,
Nice.
it does seem like a forest. I would say for sitting, it's probably in the forest or woods. Sorry?
Is there even fruit there? Like, can you eat fruit there? Yeah, there was mushrooms.
There was mushrooms. Yeah, there
Mr.
was
One, I'm
mushrooms.
done.
You're done. All right. Let's see.
I don't know where they got that. Maybe
I'll give you guys another couple of minutes.
The white rabbit. He went out of Wonderland. White rabbit. He made it out. Remember the
That is true. The story starts where Alice goes
He didn't even wear his
outside
pants.
Wonderland, and the rabbit passed by.
He was
so the
too
rabbit was
late.
outside.
He didn't even wear his pants. he only was like a short. He didn't even wear pants next to
Then-
him.
Let's see. Yeah, maybe he doesn't wear pants at all.
What is the one? What is the one? Nothing. Oh God! Oh God! Oh boy.
All right, a couple of minutes more to finalize it.
Oh sister.
The riverbank. Yeah, the setting is the riverbank.
gets too much film.
The riverbank.
My favorite
So Sayana was talking about how the setting could be in the riverbank.
Why not a pencil? I'm done.
All right, we're giving Sayana a couple of minutes to finish up.
A lot of events.
Scarlet Wing.
Now about theme. What would you say the story's about? Sophia was saying about don't trust strangers, and Sebastian was saying about
Mad
don't
strangers.
don't trust mad strangers.
Yeah, probably put that. Or weird people.
What would you say is the message and the meaning of the story?
Suspicious. Sus people.
You don't know? Let's
People
see.
don't
Let's
trust
see.
those
So
people.
it starts off. She follows a rabbit. She falls, and then things that happen to her. That are they normal things that happen to her?
No.
They're weird things, right? So that's why Sophia's talking about strange things, like strange things,
Strange things.
like Stranger Things, the show. What about the people she meets? Are they like
But
very?
Vecna wasn't-
Are they
But
normal? Or are
Vecna
they
wasn't in there.
The animals.
strange? Right?
Yeah,
They're a little
but
strange.
the thing that's strange is that the animals and they talk.
And they talk. That is strange also. So I think the theme is something about strange.
Yeah, strange, like mad strangers.
Not Stranger Things, cause
Strange things.
but Vecna's not in there. Vecna.
You put Max in it.
The Demogorgon's not
Max
in
and
there.
Let's see, what does she put? I know you guys are done, but we're gonna give it to you in a little bit of time. Just put one event, Sophia, and
one
then
event.
you'll be completed.
What two?
What happened in the story?
Hey, get your feet off me. Get your crusty feet off me.
Alright, Sayana's putting the strange things happen.
Nito, why can't we get a candy over there?
One event. What event in the story do you think you liked the most that stood out
Yeah,
for you?
musty, crusty,
Remember, they had the tea party. She met the cat. What was she called? You said specific
I'm not
name.
Tarzan, I don't have a beard.
The Cheshire cat.
You're Aladdin.
As well as at the end, they were having a trial. Remember, they played croquet.
I'm not, I don't live in the desert. I don't
You wanna do that one? Alright,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
don't have a lot of hours. This is a very big room, actually.
My sweater. I'm a little cold. I put on my sweater.
Ponete el suéter, niño. This is how big my room is. Bless you.
Thank you, Sophia.
It's kind of cold here now. I thought it was fresh, but now it's cold.
I don't have a sweater.
And see, Sayana's finishing that. You guys, class.
See.
Yes, thank you. You finished? Alright then. Now that we finished all of our ideas, we did our worksheet, I want us to do a little story element chart for all of us to remember what was in the story. Let me get some markers to do this.
Can I do
As a class, I want you guys to share one element at a time. We'll start with Jeremiah and work our way around. We will start with which element should we start first?
Characters.
Characters. Jeremiah, give me one character that came out in the story.
Alice.
Alice. Yes. Alice
Main
is a very
character.
important. I won't put that. Yeah, that's very important. Main character.
Or maybe from Squid. Or from Six.
Squid got me. Oh yeah.
That's one character. Thank you, Jeremiah. So, Stian, what's another character?
The caterpillar.
The caterpillar.
Caterpillar. The hungry caterpillar.
Oh yeah.
Caterpillar. Thank you. Sophia, what character would you like to share?
Treasure cat.
The
Treasure. You said treasure.
The, what's it called? Cashier cat. Let's get the
Chisel.
Cheshire cat.
Trestle.
Chess cat.
I thought it was called trestle. You said treasure. Treasure.
And then lastly, it's Ayana. What character would you like to share? The Queen of Hearts.
And put the white rabbit.
I'll put the Queen.
Reina.
And a sister.
Corazones.
That's a lot of characters.
I heard one last one that was very important. What was the first character
The
they
white
started?
rabbit, the white rabbit.
rabbit. I won't put the white rabbit because I think the white rabbit is very
I said
important.
that. But we didn't really talk about him really. But
We will talk about them through events. But let's try settings now. What settings do you guys want to talk about? Where? Let's start with Jeremiah. Is it perfectly Jeremiah, please? Just turn around. What character, Jeremiah?
England.
England. Any other settings, Sebastian?
Alice in Wonderland.
Wonderland.
I was gonna say if you can also put UK.
UK for
Oh yeah, she is.
For England, yes. Any other setting?
Oh, I think I know. Maybe
Wait, let's have someone else share. Thank you though. It's Ayana? The riverbank.
I said England because I feel bad for the Queens with
Riverbank. And Sophia, do you have a last one?
the forest.
Forest, yes.
I'm gonna say that.
The forest.
Bro.
that's not even
With those.
Now, let's choose one event together as a whole. What event do we really want to mention as a whole? What event? Give me an idea, Sebastian.
Mostly people are strange, mad, and
Well,
weird.
that's the theme. We're talking an event in the story. What happened in the story that we all want to mention together as an idea? It's Sayana? they play croquet. All right, any other ideas? We'll try and mix that in with our event. What else, Jeremiah? What else happened?
There's one event that I told earlier about the Cheshire Cat. He kind of like he kind of faded away slowly.
All right, so we have they play croquet. They met Cheshire Cat. What else, Celestian or Sophia?
Okay, I think maybe we could put maybe the Alice filled into Wonderland.
I think that's very important. Sophia, thank you, Celestian. Sophia?
When Alice followed the White Rabbit.
Oh yes.
That's
I
the
think
same
that
kind of.
I think that's very important. How did the story start off?
Alice fell into Wonderland. She followed the White Rabbit.
The White Rabbit. I think I want to put that, even though she did meet the cat, and then she also yours was about the crochet game, the croquet game. I really think that how it all began was an important event. Let's do that because we will run out of space here. Let's put Alice follow who?
Alice followed the White Rabbit into Wonderland.
The White Rabbit. Alice followed the White Rabbit
Into Wonderland. What is that? That was a duck on the window.
into where, class?
Quack, quack.
What was the place called? Where did Alice go?
Wonderland.
Wonderland. Yes.
And Wonderland. That looks like a duck actually.
Wonderland.
What long one? Quack, quack.
Now, the last thing I wanted us to talk about, the theme. What can we all agree? What was the story about?
Mad, strange, and weird.
Strange, mad, strange, and what else? Any more themes?
Miss Malcolm,
We're about to finish up. Don't worry. Jeremiah?
There were people in the story were like crazy, mad, strange, and in the story it was really odd because everyone was like going crazy and like a lot of strange things happened. Like when she ate and did many stuff.
Many stuff. That is true. So I think the theme of the story is strange things happen a lot.
Stranger things. Don't talk to strangers.
Stranger
Strange
things, but they don't have the Demogorgon yet.
But stranger things.
Strange things happen, but where do they happen? Remember, where do they happen mainly?
In
Where were these
Wonderland.
strange things happen?
In
In Wonderland. Strange things happen
After
in
strange, can I put things?
Wonderland.
I was gonna say Willy's Wonderland.
Can you put don't talk to strangers? No,
And then maybe as a second little thing, don't talk to strangers.
Things. Strangers.
Don't talk
Don't talk to Stranger Things.
to strangers.
Things.
Also Goosebumps.
Oh yeah.
Strangers or slash strange things. Not Stranger Things like the show. I know you guys trying to connect that.
Connect that.
All right.
It's okay. Can we go to
Lastly, before we finish, what was very important that we were using within the story? What were the important things we were using? Sebastian?
story elements?
Story elements, and let's name the story elements. What's one story element, Jeremiah?
Characters.
Characters, Sebastian.
Settings.
Setting, it's Ayana.
Events.
Events, and lastly, Sophia.
Theme.
Themes, and do we have that in our little story element? chart?
Yes.
Yes.
We went in order.
We did win in order. Are we all good?
Yes.
Yes? Alright then. Now I know it's recess and we finished the lesson. Good job, you guys. We'll end here.
Are we going to continue after?